I am 82. Now, and this is the choice I think about the most. I am 82 years old now. My voice is softer than it used to be. My hands move slower. My mornings take longer. But my thoughts, they are clearer than they've ever been. Time does that to you. It removes the noise. It strips life down to what truly mattered and what quietly slipped away. When you live this long, people expect big regrets. They expect stories of failure, lost money, wrong careers, big mistakes. But real regret is rarely loud. It doesn't shout. It whispers. The choice I regret most was not something I did wrong. It was something I kept putting off. I delayed living fully. I delayed saying what I felt. I delayed slowing down. I delayed being present. I told myself I had time. I told myself, I'll do it later. I told myself, one day, when things settle. But things never really settle. Life keeps moving. Responsibilities stack up. Days blur together. And one day turns into a lifetime. I remember believing I was being practical, responsible, focused. I thought I was preparing for the future. But the future arrived quietly while I was busy preparing for it. Moments passed me by. Simple ones. Ordinary ones. And now I understand something I couldn't see back then. Those ordinary moments were the real life. I don't speak today with bitterness. I don't speak with anger. I speak with honesty and with peace. Because regret, when you sit with it long enough, softens into wisdom. It teaches instead of punishing. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't warn him to work less or earn more. I would tell him to be there. Be there when nothing special is happening. Be there when silence fills the room. Be there without checking the clock. I would tell him that presence is more valuable than progress, that people remember how you made them feel, not how busy you were, that love doesn't need grand gestures. It needs time, attention, stillness. If my story reaches you today, I hope it does something gentle. I hope it reminds you that you don't need to wait. Not for retirement, not for success, not for the right moment. The moment is already here, and one day you will be my age, and you will think back. I hope when you do, you smile more than you sigh. If my regret becomes your reminder, then it was worth sharing. Thank you for listening. The choice I made without realizing it. When I was young, I believed life was a long road stretching endlessly ahead of me. I thought there would always be more time, another chance, another conversation left unfinished, another moment I could return to later. Youth makes you feel rich in time, so rich that you spend it without looking. The choice I made, without ever announcing it to myself, was choosing work over presence. Not because I loved work more than people, not because I didn't care. I cared deeply, but I was afraid of falling behind while others moved ahead, afraid of not providing enough, afraid of being seen as slow or weak or replaceable. I believed staying busy meant staying valuable. So I filled my days, early mornings, late nights, schedules stacked on top of schedules. Busy became my armor. Busy was praised by others. Busy felt responsible. Busy felt like proof that I mattered. When someone asked how I was doing, I answered proudly, busy, as if that word meant successful, as if it meant secure. But busy came at a cost I didn't notice at the time. I missed quiet mornings where nothing needed to be done. I missed slow dinners where stories unfold naturally. I missed sitting in a room without watching the clock or thinking about the next task. I was there in body, but not always in spirit. I told myself, I'm doing this for them, for the family, for the future, for stability. And I believed it. But what they needed wasn't my effort. It wasn't my exhaustion. It wasn't my sacrifice. It was my attention. They needed me to look up, to listen without rushing, to stay a little longer. I didn't realize it then. You rarely do. Life doesn't send warnings when you're young. It doesn't tap you on the shoulder and say, "Slow down, this matters." It lets you learn later, much later. Now at this age, I understand something simple and painful at the same time. Presence is a gift you can only give while you're there. You can't explain it later. You can't make it up afterward. You can't send it once time has passed. I don't blame my younger self. He did what he thought was right. He was trying to build something solid. But if I could speak to him now, I would tell him this. Success feels good for a moment, but being present feels good for a lifetime. And once you see that truth, you never forget it. I just wish I had seen it sooner. The moment I finally understood. Understanding doesn't arrive loudly at 82. It doesn't knock on the door. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't come with fireworks or final speeches. It arrives quietly. It arrives when the house feels larger than it used to, when rooms echo a little longer, when the phone stays silent more often than it rings. It arrives when memories begin to visit more frequently than plans. I understood not all at once, but slowly, in pieces. I understood when I noticed how fast stories end. Conversations that once felt endless now finish in a blink. Laughter fades quicker. Voices soften. Some disappear altogether. I understood when I realized how suddenly people become memories. One day they are part of your routine. The next they live only in photographs and quiet thoughts. No announcement, no warning, just absence. That's when it became clear to me what I had been doing all along. I had been present for tasks, for schedules, for responsibilities. But I had been absent for moments. I showed up to do, not always to be. I crossed items off lists while moments passed by unchecked. And here is the part that hurts the most. No one blamed me. No one accused me of choosing wrong. No one said I failed them. Life didn't raise its voice. It simply moved on. That is the quiet cruelty of time. It doesn't argue with you. It doesn't fight for your attention. It just keeps walking. And one day you look back and notice what you didn't hold while your hands were full. The conversations you rushed, the pauses you skipped, the moments you assumed would repeat. They didn't. This isn't about guilt. Guilt is heavy, and at this age you learn to put heavy things down. This is about clarity. Clarity is lighter, cleaner, kinder. Clarity doesn't punish you. It teaches you. It shows you that presence was never about perfection. It was about noticing. Noticing the way a voice sounds. Noticing the way time slows when you stop trying to control it. Clarity comes late. That much is true. But when it comes gently. It sits beside you. It doesn't judge. It simply says, "This is what mattered." And once you hear that truth, even at 82, your heart grows quieter, and somehow that quiet feels like peace. If I were given one more chance, if I were given another chance, I would live slower and I would stop apologizing for it. I spent too many years explaining myself, explaining why I needed rest, explaining why I wanted quiet, explaining why I wasn't in a hurry. If I had another chance, I would understand that slowness is not weakness. It is awareness. I would listen without planning my reply. I would let words land without trying to fix them, without trying to be clever, without trying to move things along. I would listen to understand, not to respond. I would sit longer, even if nothing important was happening. Especially then, Because I've learned that nothing happening is often when life is happening most. I would stay at the table. I would remain in the room. I would resist the urge to check the time or the future. I would say, I'm here, and actually mean it. Not halfway, not distracted, not already thinking of the next thing. Fully here. I would let silence exist without trying to fill it. Silence used to make me uncomfortable. I thought it meant something was wrong. Now I know silence is where truth rests. It's where people feel safe enough to be themselves. It's where the heart speaks without interruption. I would choose moments over milestones. I chased goals once. Dates, deadlines, achievements. They looked important on paper. They felt urgent in the moment. But moments are what remain. The way someone looked at you, the way a laugh lingered, the warmth of being understood without needing to explain. Those are the things that stay with you. I would stop rushing through today to reach tomorrow. Tomorrow was always the promise, the reward, the place where life would finally slow down. But tomorrow kept moving. And today kept slipping through my hands, because tomorrow is not promised, not to anyone. But this moment is real. It is here. It is breathing. It is waiting to be noticed. And it doesn't ask for much. Just your attention. Just your presence. Just you. And now at this age I understand something simple. This moment, as ordinary as it may seem, is enough.